Well, hi there, Internet. My name's Court, and you've got courtside seats for my review of the brand new Netflix, Mute. Let's do it. Mute is a Netflix original mystery science fiction thriller directed by Duncan Jones. The film stars Alexander Skarsgard, Paul Rudd, Justin Theroux, Seyneb Saleh, and Robert Sheehan. Berlin, 40 years from today. Leo, a mute bartender, has one reason for living here, and she's disappeared. But when Leo's search takes him deeper into the city's underbelly, an odd pair of American surgeons seem to be the only recurring clue, and Leo can't tell if they can help or who he should fear most. So Mute is the fourth feature film from director Duncan Jones, the first being Moon, which is my favorite movie of 2009. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's so good. He also did Source Code, which I thought was okay, and he did most recently Warcraft, which I have not seen. Fun fact, Duncan Jones is also David Bowie's son. I think you can tell, it's pretty easy to see. Now, IMDb says this is a mystery thriller science fiction movie. I take a little bit of umbrage with that. Yes, it's set in the future and there's some cool technology, but the cool technology doesn't really tie into the storyline in any way. It's definitely a thriller and a mystery, but it's not actually really all that sci-fi. So let's just go with futuristic mystery thriller. I think that's a little more accurate. This film is part Blade Runner, particularly visually, it's a love letter to Blade Runner. Part Memento, with a little bit of Taxi Driver sprinkled in for good measure. Alexander Skarsgard is excellent in this movie. He gives a great performance without saying a single word in the entire film. With just his body language and his facial expressions, we learn everything we need to know about who he is and how he feels about whatever's going on. Paul Rudd, though we can empathize with his character to a point, he's a bad man in this film. And yet somehow, being Paul Rudd, he still manages to be thoroughly likable. Damn it, Paul Rudd, stop being so handsome and witty. Justin Theroux's character is kind of played mostly for humor without the film, but he does bring the menace as well. Now the score in this movie, Clint Mansell, who is Darren Aronofsky's go-to composer, who also did the score for Duncan Jones' Moon, he returns here and does what he did so well in Moon. He brings a kind of post-rock flavor to it with some synth and some guitars, and the score is really good. Not as good as Moon's, then again I've only heard it once. But it's moody, it's haunting, it's pulsing when necessary, it's darkly beautiful. It even reimagines Nirvana's heart-shaped box in a really cool way. The film looks amazing. The costume design, the production design are both impeccable. You have this sort of colorful futuristic city with all this neon, then set against these sort of colorless drab apartments, which makes for a really cool juxtaposition. Now, okay, I know I keep bringing up Moon because I do think it's a masterpiece, but I bring it up again now just to mention that this movie Mute, which kind of feels like a bit of a spiritual sequel to Moon, filled with references to Moon. Most of them are pretty subtle. One of them is pretty obvious, and if you've seen Moon, I'm sure you'll catch it. And it brought me joy. I think the biggest problem that a lot of people might have with this movie is the pacing. Mute is a hair over 2 hours, and particularly the first two acts, the pacing is very slow. It's very deliberately slow, but it is very slow. I didn't find it boring. I was interested the whole time, but it definitely takes its time getting going. I also happen to like slower paced films generally, not always, but oftentimes. Now the third act does pick up significantly, but I think this being a net flick, there are probably a lot of people who will tap out before they even get there, which is too bad because the ending of this movie is really strong. Mute is not a perfect film, but it is a visual feast. It's got an interesting story and some really great performances. Now, I don't have a proprietary rating system as of yet, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to give Mute, and I think I'm going to give Mute a...
Quite an experience to live in fear, isn't it?
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Out of 10. So now I want to know, have you seen Mute? What did you think about it? What's your favorite Netflix movie of the year? Or what's your favorite Duncan Jones movie of all time? Whatever your thoughts, hit the comments below. Let's discuss. If you enjoyed this review, please smash that like button and give it a share if you really enjoyed it. And hey, why not take a second, do me a favor, click subscribe to my channel for more movie reviews, entertainment news, trailer reactions, all that good stuff. You can do so by clicking the Courtshake logo at the bottom right of your screen. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.